Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Lowe, and today myself and the rest of my team, Felena Ho, Nicole Bezic, and Jeff Borsick, are going to take you through our analysis of the West Coast University case. The West Coast University case is set in the primary care clinic of the Student Health Services in West Coast University. Almost all students enroll in the medical plan that enables them to receive non-specialty care from the primary care clinic along with other health services. The primary care clinic is staffed with 5 full-time physicians, 5 full-time nurse practitioners, 4 part-time physicians, and 3 part-time nurse practitioners. Care is given by both physicians and nurse practitioners on a walk-in or appointment basis. Also, students have the option of selecting a personal doctor who will always care for them when they need treatment. Joan Carwin, the PCC director, perceives that one of the problems with the current system is that personal doctors are not always available, so students are either forced to wait until the doctor is ready or to come back at another time, sometimes up to 3 days after they originally came in. This has caused a lot of student dissatisfaction over waiting times and not being able to see their personal clinician promptly. In fact, because some students aren't able to see their personal clinicians, they feel that the clinic is more of an impersonal bureaucracy than a caregiving center. Because of these problems, the students are dissatisfied with the performance and effectiveness of the primary care clinic. We agree with Joan that waiting times are a big concern for the primary care clinic, but we disagree with her focus on the impersonal nature of the PCC because the survey shows that students care more about lowering waiting times than having a specific personal clinician. Joan's solutions to the problem she perceives is to assign students to a personal team of 1 physician and 1 nurse practitioner. Then she wants to schedule the team so that at least 1 member is always on duty at any given time. Joan thinks that this will reduce waiting times and maintain personal clinician-student relationships. Now Nicole will take you through our analysis of the PCC problems.
According to this survey, the main issues that students are the most dissatisfied with is the administrative paperwork, the amount of waiting time to get an appointment, and the waiting time at the walk-in clinic. One of the major issues is with the administrative paperwork. Currently, students have to fill out a form every time they arrive at the front desk. The form has unnecessary items to fill out, such as phone number and address. Our solution is that students should only have to show their student ID and disclose their medical problem. All the other info should be retrieved automatically from the computer. The benefit is that there is no risk of misinputting any information. We can measure the success of the system by comparing the time to check in using the computer system and the time it takes with the manual form. We can also conduct a new satisfaction survey. The second problem is the amount of waiting time. In the current system, before it is determined if a patient should make an appointment, patients fill out a form at the front desk. This form then triggers the retrieval of medical records. Then the triage nurse determines if the patient should make an appointment or see a clinician. The problem with this system is that the medical records are on the 4th floor and front desk is on the 1st floor. Therefore, there is a lag time for retrieving records. Our proposed solution is to move the records to the same area as the front desk. This, along with the earlier suggestion for an automated computer system, will reduce the overall waiting time. This proposed solution does not have any real risks. However, there is a chance that there isn't enough room to store all the medical records near the front desk. We would measure the success of the system by comparing the new waiting time to the old time and also conduct a new satisfaction survey. And now Felena will discuss in details the problems associated with walk-in waiting.
Regarding the third and biggest problem of walk-in waiting time, let's first assume that all patients are walk-ins and arrive at a uniform rate. We'll also assume that clinicians are scheduled at the same level throughout the time horizon. Based on these assumptions, we can run appropriate calculations. With a total of 268 doctor working hours and an average service time of 25 minutes, doctors have the capacity to see 643 patients per week. Based on the previous 6 months' information, we know that they actually attended to 346 patients per week. Their utilization is therefore about 54%. Nurses, for their part, have a utilization rate of 51%. The average utilization of clinicians, which is both doctors and nurses, is 52%. Average waiting time is less than 1 minute, and the probability of waiting for more than 20 minutes is close to 0. but this doesn't match the observations in the case. The reason is that we have assumed that arrival rates are uniform and clinicians are always staffed at the same levels. In reality, this isn't the case. Both patient arrival times and staff working hours vary. Such variability leads to long waits. If we compare clinician and patient distributions for walk-ins and appointments, we see that clinicians are not distributed well according to demand. Only 31% of their hours are spent for walk-ins, even though 60% of total patients show up for walk-in care. Waiting line analysis further validates that more clinicians need to be staffed for walk-ins. As it is, average waiting time for walk-ins is nearly an hour and a half, and there is 70% probability that patients must wait for more than 20 minutes. Shifting more doctors and nurses to walk-ins will obviously reduce waiting times. Furthermore, scheduling is not just problematic for walk-ins and appointments, but also problematic based on different demands throughout the day. For example, only 3 clinicians are available from 8 to 9 on Monday when an average of 13 patients are arriving. Yet 6 clinicians are available from 4 to 5 on Friday when an average of only 2 patients are arriving. Even more glaringly, no doctors or nurses work from 8 to 9 on Tuesday, even though 13 people arrive during that time slot. Staff schedules must therefore be rearranged to meet different demands between walk-ins and appointments, as well as different demands throughout the day and among days. Long waiting times is therefore a result of poorly allocated staff. The current system of each patient having a specific MD also contributes to long waiting times. This system underutilizes the current full workforce. If one MD is in very high demand, for example, not only are students unable to see that doctor in a timely fashion, but other MDs have idle time. All the while, nurse practitioners are underutilized. With all of this in mind, Jeff will now discuss our proposed solution.
The first solution we are proposing is to adjust the staff hours to meet customer demand. With the old schedule, the walk-in clinic was only receiving 33% of the manpower, even though they accounted for 60% of students. With this schedule of hours shown here, we have fixed the uneven distribution by giving the walk-in staff 288 hours of work, which is 60% of the total available hours. We also made sure that the clinic would be adequately staffed during peak times, using the average number of students that arrived during the given hour. After plugging our figures into the macro, you can see the shown output. With an average waiting time of only 1.174 minutes and 1% chance of waiting more than 20 minutes, we have drastically reduced waiting time to an almost insignificant amount. Moving on to our proposed solution, we first realized that the fewest number of available clinicians during a given hour is 3, which is of course during the slowest times. With that in mind, we propose that the clinic creates 3 teams. That way, there is always at least one member of every team working at a given time. This way, no matter when a patient arrives, he will be able to see someone that he is familiar with. Lastly, we want to note our assumption that patients arrive in an even team distribution. Some risks that might be associated with this are that the MDs have expressed a dislike for the team system, so morale among the staff could go down. Also, teams are comprised of either 5 or 6 clinicians, which could be seen as being too large and therefore impersonalized. To measure success, we would like to compare the queue buildup and wait times to those of the old schedule so that we could see the improvements that we have made. We would also like to conduct a customer satisfaction survey to see how the patients are receiving the new system. So, with this, we have reallocated staff schedules, reduced waiting times, and provided patients with a level of personalized care. We believe this system will greatly improve the experience at the PCC, and we eagerly await the clinic's reception. Thank you for your time.